Yo, so in today's video, we're going to be going over how lifting weights builds on more than just muscle. So when you're going through a set and you're on your last rep or your last 5 reps, you got to push through those 5 more, right? When you're pushing through, you're not just building muscle, but you're building your brain up in a way that allows you to be more resilient and more disciplined. And you're going to want to stay until the end of the video because I'm going to get into an idea that most people, I don't see them talk about this at all, where grunting can actually be used as a very powerful resource in our training to not only increase our gains in the gym, but also develop our mind as well. So let's get into the video. Part 1, the muscle-mind connection. So neuroplasticity. We know that neuroplasticity is our brain's ability to adapt to a certain circumstance and then learn from it. So we're learning new neural pathways, we're creating new neural pathways, and we're making effort easier over time by doing this, by training our mind in this way. So our next part B, resistance and neural growth. So there's a part in our brain called the BDNF that is increased when we do certain things like lifting to extreme levels. And our BDNF is basically, the term is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Not that that's necessarily important. Pretty much all you need to know is that it's a part of our brain that allows new brain cells to develop and to grow. So how this is important to training, it not only increases the development of our brain, but it also allows us to learn faster, it increases our memory, and it helps us develop a more resilient and disciplined mind. So moving into part 2, your RAS plus mental resilience. So how does RAS play a role in our mental resilience? For those of you that are not aware of what RAS is, it's your Reticular Activating System. It's a part in the brain that allows us to filter out distractions from what's truly important to us. And why this is important to training is because every time that you go into a hard set and you're going in with that mindset to attack the weight, right? And you're those 5 extra reps, you're pushing for those 5 extra reps, you're actually challenging that part of your brain to develop more over time. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes more of like a developed habit. So your brain starts to make a much stronger connection over time. Every repetition that you're doing is adding to that next level of development in your RAS. And also, we know if it's adding to that, it's also going to be adding to how much we can grow in the gym as well. So what I want you to get from this last part here to summarize all of this up is that by pushing through those mental barriers, we're increasing our resilience, our discipline, and it essentially rewires our brain to create new connections that are going to help us not make effort just easier, but also to just handle stressful situations in a much more ideal manner so that we can feel more comfortable and more confident in any situation, any aspect in our life. All right, so getting on to section 3 now, the power of grunting. So unlocking your warrior mindset. I know it sounds funny, but it actually makes sense once I break it down. I'm going to talk about how we use history actually to explain how grunting has a purpose. Moving on, why is grunting more than just noise? Studies are showing that when we utilize grunting as a powerful tool to unlock this kind of inner strength inside of us when we're lifting, when we're going through PRs, when we're going for top sets, attack that with a very powerful mind behind it. And when you understand how it plays a role in our nervous system and using the fight or flight response, being able to use that adrenaline rush to your advantage. I don't know if you guys know who John Bones is, one of the best UFC fighters in the world. He talks about this a little bit and how he uses adrenaline or like his anxiety to become a very powerful resource. I think when you understand how it affects the nervous system and how grunting and all this combines together to create a very powerful tool in our training, I think we're able to get the most out of our lifting sessions. So first off, you're establishing a need in your brain chemically for your body to produce a reaction that is going to be at its most optimal performance to attack the situation, right? And it's priming those muscles that are necessary, because when you vocalize that effort, you make it known to your entire body that you're about to overcome something and that you're going into that fight response. And when you do that, it activates the muscles in a much more effective way to say, hey, we're about to do something crazy here and we need to attack this with everything that we got. It's gonna bring the most out of the lift when you do that. You utilize that to overcome the obstacle in front of us, which is going through that PR or getting the best top set of our life. So when we do that, we're gonna increase our strength output exponentially. And I know this for a fact because I do this myself. Ever since I started lifting, I'm utilizing this tool here to bring myself to a higher level in my training. And I 100% agree that I probably get at least 20 to 30% more out of lifts just by utilizing grunting as a powerful vocal tool and implementing it into my working sets and to one for PRs. So real quick, to come back up to the top about the warrior mindset, what the heck do I mean by that? So you guys know the samurai, those ancient warriors like the Viking, were pretty much the ones that introduced us to grunting, or like that battle cry that they do when they're in wars and they're chopping somebody's head up. So you gotta do what you gotta do if you're in that type of circumstance. So letting out that little mean grunt or that yelling, I guess, helps you chop off more heads, and more heads you collect. You know what you're getting when you get back to the battle base, right? But all jokes aside though, when you vocalize that aspect and you bring it into your training and you channel that energy and that focus, a powerful battle cry could mean the difference between life or death, just like it did for the warriors back then. It could mean the difference between getting a PR or not getting the PR. And it also reduces inhibition to help you power through the lift and get what you need to get done. So moving on to section 4 now, lifting to enhance your mindset. When we're overcoming plateaus in the gym, I think there's a heavy correlation between our problems in daily life or work life and the problems that we face in the gym. It's more likely than not, most of the time in my life, at least from my experience, when I've been struggling to break through plateaus in the gym, or I've just been stuck and feeling a lack of motivation because I'm not where I want to be, I find that I face more challenges in my daily life because I didn't take care of what I was supposed to in my training, because I wasn't overcoming those obstacles. When you start overcoming obstacles in your training, you start overcoming obstacles in your daily life because you just feel more in control, you feel more confident, and you just feel like you're ready to tackle anything. Every P is a process of overcoming that plateau. But personal records can look like a lot of things. It can look like shape that we have in the mirror now. It can look like dominating a set and performing that set in the most optimal way possible for our muscles to grow. And all of these things, all of these PRs that you have, whether it's in the gym or whether you have a PR with your work, you're making the money that you want, whatever it may be, these are all small wins that accumulate to a very profound effect. It also builds a compound effect in our mind that is saying we're on the right track, we're winning, and we're doing what's necessary. And it builds a feedback loop in our mind as well. And this feedback loop is basically saying, oh nice, we got another win, we got another win. How these small little micro wins accumulate to such a big thing. For example, like a forest fire. When a forest fire is starting, it starts with just a small little spark, right? But over time, that spark grows and it goes from these little bushes over here, these little leaves and these little bushes over here, to these small twigs, to these big sticks, and then to trees, and then to this whole raging forest fire at the end. Until finally you've accumulated so many wins that the old version of yourself that used to look at things like, oh, this is a loss, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, it just isn't there anymore. It's almost like you defeated that part of you because you're so far in that you can't even recognize that person anymore. And I think that honestly that's the best way I can describe how the compound effect can have a tremendous effect in our life, not only in the gym, but in every aspect. And that's why I'm super happy that I'm able to be here and to share this information with you guys. so that you can start using these ideas and these principles into your life. And at times when the small things seem like such a struggle for you, now that you've built a system in place that allows you to accumulate all these wins, you get to the point where things just become effortless, and things that used to be a problem are no longer a problem. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and it took a little bit of time, but we got it going. And I want to hear your guys' feedback on what it is that you liked about this video, what it is that you're going to start implementing in your life, and any positive or negative feedback is very much appreciated. I'm always trying to learn how I can better display this information to you guys to make it make sense and to give you guys the best experience possible. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop some feedback below.